What is contentment and why should we cultivate it? Contentment is a feeling of being at peace with myself, with my surroundings, with the people I love. Sometimes contentment gets confused with happiness, and it's true, if I'm content for a longer period of time, that will eventually lead to happiness. But happiness is a fleeting feeling. You can be happy, you can be sad, you can be angry, but contentment is different. Contentment is more like a state. If you take a dog, for example, the majority of the dogs are content if it's a happy and healthy dog. If it's a dog that no one takes care of, it might be grumpy as well. But otherwise a dog is fairly content with life. 97% of the time or even more, he's content. He can be angry, sad and happy sometimes, but the majority of the time he's content. Licking his body, taking a walk and all these things. And we are not that different from dogs and other animals. I would like my prime state to be contentment. But the challenge for us humans is that we think a lot. And we can easily go into this overthinking mood, having this negative dialogue or being grumpy, trying to figure things out. This is different from animals, because animals, to my knowledge, they don't do that. Can you be content and at the same time have big dreams and a goal in life? I think sometimes we think that contentment, then I will be just content with what is. I remember my mom had a friend who said that you should be content with the small things in life. And my mom was not like, no, you should have goals and you should have big dreams and so on. But I think contentment is an underrated emotion or state. I think also the fear comes from the fact that we might confuse it with acceptance and resignation. But these are actually two very different things. I often say, I accept myself as I am. I accept this situation. And normally I don't say that with a very happy voice, not a content voice. And when I resign or when I give up something, it's more of a feeling that I'm not doing this anymore. It's not a voice of contentment. There is a difference between acceptance, resignation and contentment. Contentment doesn't go very well along with stress for me. For some people, yes. Some people believe in positive stress. I hate stress. I don't like to be stressful. And when I'm stressed over a deadline or something I have to do and get away and drive my car to some place, for me personally, I cannot be both content and stressful. When I'm stressed, I'm not content. So I think stress, for me at least, is counterproductive to being content. Another thing with contentment is that if you voice it all the time, oh, I'm so content with my life, and you post it on social media, showing everyone that you are so content with the life that you are living, I think that might be a signal that you are not that content as you try to make yourself and others believe. Of course you can be content and show off your contentment on social media, but I also think that when you post things on social media, you can still be grumpy and irritated. Is it easy to be content? Yeah, some days. Some days I wake up, I look at my birds, I look at the sky, I look at everything and I'm just content. Other days I need to cultivate it, I need to focus on it. In spiritual traditions, contentment is seen as an intermediary phase for humans to move from the material to the spiritual world. Normally we struggle in the material world. We seek achievements, success and happiness, and we think that momentary pleasures are what we want. But in reality, these never make us happy. The one who instead moves away from the highway of success and embraces contentment will live a much more satisfied life. This is also something that eventually will lead to enlightenment and the liberation of all misery. according to many spiritual traditions. One thing that doesn't go along with contentment, in my view, is consumption. When I really want something, I really want to buy this thing, or it doesn't have to be stuff, it can be a person. I want this person, or I want this career, I want this job, or whatever. When I have this, I want to have it, then I'm often not content. I believe that this thing that I'm buying or this thing that I wish for will make me content. Does this mean that I never buy anything? Of course not. Sometimes I buy stuff, but I try to ask myself, do I really need this? And I try to be honest with myself. If it's something I think I need in order to be content, then I don't buy it. But if it's something that I find another reason for, I'm already content, but I perhaps need this thing to make my life easier in some way. We might believe that contentment doesn't go along with having dreams and goals. But I think that is the same thing as with buying stuff. Ask yourself, why do I want this? Why do I want this big thing to happen in my life? If it is because I want to be more content, then perhaps I need to think a little bit more about my dreams. But otherwise, dreams, goals, setting up goals for yourself, if you are content, you can do that.
Gandhi has two seemingly contradictory quotes on the subject of contentment. The first, man's happiness really lies in contentment. And the second, healthy discontent is the prelude to progress. It might seem confusing until you look at how Gandhi brought about change. He was discontent with the system in his country, so he sought to change it. However, he was content as a person, who he was and what he had in his personal life. This inner content allowed him to have the power to face the very powerful authorities in his country at that time.
How should you cultivate contentment? Well, for a start, pay attention to the details. And a good thing is to focus on nature. Even though nature is not simple, it's simple to focus on it because nature is everywhere. And you can see nature even if you're in a town or in a city or wherever you are, even in a prison. You can find some small pieces of nature. And you can focus on that. Focus on the details of a grass, for example. And when you focus on the details and you pay close attention to the details, it's easy to be content.
Because contentment is born in the present moment. Of course you can be content with things that happened in your life or things that might happen in the future, so you can ponder over things that are not in the present moment and be content. But for the most part, contentment is something born in the now. And it's also important not to judge. Oh, I love this day because the sun is shining. Then it's a prerequisite. I can just be content if the sun is shining.
I think the most important reason for this is that we have one life. What's the purpose of this life if I wish I was someone else, or if I wish I lived in another country or had other kind of opportunities than those that I have? What would be the purpose of my life if I wished that my life was different?
I've been given this life in this body with these circumstances, and if I'm not content with that ever, then I'm just wasting my life. So I think it's a way of honoring life, to see life as it is and to be content with what is.